very familiar with Liam Coen. He was with the Rams for a couple years. And, you know, my wife told me a couple of weeks ago that cringe is in. I don't know, man, because look, there's winning and losing of the press conference. He did not win that press conference, but I mean, he clearly made headlines. Here was Liam Coen trying to ingratiate himself to Jags fans.
Duval.
I think we need to possibly make that a permanent soundbite. I'm going to run that back real quick.
Duval.
Duval. Now, if you don't know what Duval is, in 2013, the fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they voted on Twitter to be referred to as Duval. The fans also use hashtag DTWD, which stands for Duval Till We Die. And that is what they chant, right? That's what they chant during games. It's a rallying cry. It is their county. It's their culture. It's kind of funny, too. Blake Bortles in 2014, when he was drafted, he actually thought he was getting booed when he walked to the stage, but everyone was like, Duval. But really, that's what they do. But it would just look. It was cringy. It was pretty bad. I don't think this is going to be the moment where we say, oh, he's going to be a bad hire. Because one thing I want to remind NFL fans out there is what everyone say about Dan Campbell. After he said, hey, I'm going to buy your kneecaps off and this and that, I was like, oh, it's over. Might as well look for the next head coach. It's not going to work. The introductory press conference is the most overrated thing in the history of sports. Look, I'm a UCLA guy. I remember Chip Kelly moved me to tears at his introductory press conference. He was awful. He was terrible. He stole money from UCLA. Liam Coen is the best move the Jags have made in a long, long time. And it's because you're pairing an offensive guru with a young, talented quarterback that hasn't figured things out. Last season, the Jaguars went 4-13. But Liam Coen is one of the best offensive minds in the sport. The Buccaneers were willing to make him the highest paid assistant in all of sports. They offered him a 3-year deal that was going to pay him $4 or $5 million. He was going to be the highest paid coordinator in NFL history. But it was contingent on him not taking the second interview with the Jags. And the Jags basically, they fired their GM. That opened things up. It was this kind of back and forth for a while between the two. But he ultimately ends up as the Jaguars head coach. And I'm here to tell you, the Jaguars just became interesting to me. The Jaguars, one of the, quote, small market teams, even though every NFL team is really big as far as viewership and fan following, they're interesting to me now. I want to tune in for Liam Coen press conferences now. And the most important thing, that Bucs team last year, if you watch that offense for Tampa Bay, 28.6 points per game. That was the third most for any team in the history of the National Football League in the regular season. Only the 2020 Super Bowl winning Bucs and the 2021 Bucs, which all had Tom Brady at the quarterback, had a higher number. Bucs scoring points. You don't think about the Bucs as having the top three in there, but he also just transformed them. I mean, 88.8 rushing yards per game in 2023. He took that to 149.2 rushing yards per game in 2024. It's the fourth most in the league and the best in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history. This guy has a really great combination of rushing, passing. I like this. I think it gives Trevor Lawrence a chance to have success. And hey, all I got to say is
Duval.
But John, you're going to disagree. I mean, what is your thoughts on the press conference and the hire too?
Okay, so the press conference, definitely cringy. It definitely was very cringy. I didn't really like it. He also seemed a little nervous when he was doing it. I think he thought about it too much before he got on the podium. So I think also maybe his delivery was a little off. But I will say, for Trevor Lawrence, this is one of those situations where he's gone before the coach is gone. And what I mean by that is I think we've seen enough from Trevor Lawrence that if he doesn't show any signs of improvement from Liam Coen as his OC and guru in that locker room, you have to look at Trevor Lawrence and say, all right, kid, we have put a lot of potential on you to be this, generational talent that you were. And he hasn't really met those expectations. And truthfully, if Liam Coen comes in, who we know, Doug, can call an offense, a balanced one at that. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne might have a breakout year with Liam Coen calling plays for real. So Brian Thomas Jr. is a star. So
the cupboard's not bare.
Yeah. So if I'm Evan Ingram, if I'm looking at this team, the finger that I'm pointing to, if this thing does not work out offensively, you have to look at this quarterback. And so Liam Coen, to me, is Trevor Lawrence's last chance in Jacksonville to figure it out. And if it doesn't work, I think Liam Coen will be fine, because I think if you get another quarterback in, even if you got a Sam Darnold in or a Geno Smith, I think Liam Coen can make all of that work. So if Trevor can't make it work, he'll be out the door. They'll be bringing somebody new in, because I will say this, despite how cringe Duval, I will say this, Liam Coen, he knows how to call a football game. And as long as he can do the other intangible things like a head coach, that franchise will be fine. But Trevor Lawrence, to me, I'm more concerned about him than I am about Liam Coen, actually.
That's a fantastic point. I totally agree with you. And I think to add to that, Coen showed what he did with Baker Mayfield, who was someone that was playing defensive line for the Carolina Panthers in a practice before he turned things around. He's someone who got off the plane in LA and beat the Raiders with the Rams because he was tossed around. People thought that Baker Mayfield was done, and he totally turned his career around. And I think that Coen probably sees, hey, maybe I don't need a number one guy. Maybe I don't need one of these top guys. And of course, Baker's a Heisman winner and a former top pick, but he's also proven that he can win with less talented types of players. So yeah, I think, look, the Jaguars making a good move. Coen, I think, has a little more juice than some of the other guys that have been hired. I think that if player acquisition wise, they can figure things out, I think Coen possibly could be the best, him and Ben Johnson, of the offseason hires. I think it's Coen and Ben Johnson, because I'm betting on offense.
I got to throw Aaron Glenn in the mix. I'm betting on culture and passion.
It's not Aaron Glenn, it's the Jets for me.
Yeah, that's
no
fine.
offense.
That's fine. It's Woody. It might be Woody more than anybody else. Yeah.
No, for sure.